Good evening and welcome to the Thursday edition of Source 16 News at 10. I'm Tammy Hancock. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news this hour, Kentucky Secretary of State candidate Bill Johnson was in Hopkinsville tonight to recruit more supporters. The Elkton native held an ice cream fundraiser at a local restaurant and spoke about why residents should vote for him and not his opponent, Allison Lundgren Grimes of Lexington.
Well, I think number one, the issues. My opponent doesn't support picture ID, and certainly I believe in it strongly. You know, today you have to have a picture ID to fly an airplane, to buy medications, even to buy cigarettes. And I think the security for elections ought to be at least as strong as buying a pack of cigarettes. My opponent, however, doesn't believe picture ID is important. So there are some election issues that differentiate myself from my opponent. I think my background as somebody who's been in business for 13 years, as somebody who's a military veteran, and involved in the school system as well. I taught school here at Hopkinsville High this past spring. So there's my background and qualifications that again separate me from my opponent. So I'm going to bring common sense, business sense to Frankfort, and that's what I intend to do.
Johnson beat out Hilda Legg of Somerset for the Republican nomination for Secretary of State during the May 17th primary. Also new this hour, the Senate today confirmed former 101st Airborne Division Commander General David Petraeus to be the nation's 20th CIA director. Following the 94-0 vote, he stated that, quote, he will be leaving behind his military brain trust of staffers who have stood by his side during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and he hopes to ease CIA fears that he will turn the agency into another military operation. According to his testimony, he hopes to change how the agency compiles intelligence reports. Since 2010, Petraeus has been in charge of United States-led forces in Afghanistan and will retire from the Army as a 4-star general. In addition, in 2007, then-President George W. Bush appointed Petraeus to direct troops in Iraq. He will be replacing Leon Panetta, who is scheduled to be the next Pentagon chief on Friday. Petraeus is a West Point graduate and will be retiring from the military after 37 years in the Army. Governor Steve Beshear is being recognized by educators for his efforts to improve public schools. The National Education Association announced today that Governor Beshear is this year's recipient of the America's Greatest Education Governor Award. The annual award recognizes and honors governors who have made major state-level education strides that improve public schools. Despite repeated budget shortfalls, officials say the governor has protected the main education funding formula from cuts and has moved Kentucky into the top 20 in the United States in 4th grade and 8th grade reading scores. Beshear also signed legislation to make it easier for higher education students to transfer credits from a community or technical college to any of the 4-year universities in the state. NEA President Dennis Van Rokel will present the award to Governor Beshear on Sunday before nearly 9,000 educators attending NEA's Representative Assembly in Chicago. Beshear is the 4th recipient of this prestigious award. Now we have a story exclusive to Source 16. A Fort Campbell soldier is being called a hero after he saved the life of a Montgomery County Sheriff's deputy yesterday who was having a heart attack.
I was there at Montgomery County Courts to assist a family friend with child custody, and we heard some commotion down below on the first floor. So I looked over the balcony and I saw the deputy sheriff land on the floor.
Thanks to Staff Sergeant Elliott's swift action and military training, Montgomery County Sheriff Deputy Stuart Gafford is alive.
And as I did the head tilt chin lift, the deputy sheriff gasped for air at that time. And then I started monitoring his progress, so the deputy sheriff started breathing on his own. Once he came completely to, I asked him questions, to make sure he was coherent, like did he know where he was at, did he know what day it was, things of that nature.
The Fort Campbell police officer says he believes he was at the right place at the right time.
God doesn't make any mistakes, and that was a reason for me to be at court. Although I was there to help out a family friend, I didn't have any idea that I was going to be there to help out a fellow law enforcement officer.
Deputy Gafford was transported to Gateway Medical Center in Clarksville, where he is listed in stable condition at this hour. A local hospital has been recognized with an award for being a vital part of the community and economy. Jackson Purchase Medical Center in Mayfield has been selected for the 2010 Best of Business Award in the General Medical and Surgical Hospitals category by the Small Business Commerce Association. The SBCA 2010 award program recognizes the top 5% of small businesses throughout the country. The selection committee chooses the award winners from nominees based off statistical research and also information taken from monthly surveys administered by the SBCA, a review of consumer rankings, and other consumer reports. In other news, a former Fort Campbell soldier who was recently convicted in a 2010 fatal wreck that killed a Hopkinsville woman will not be getting another trial. Christian County Circuit Court Judge Andrew Self denied a motion yesterday made by Public Defender John Faust to have another trial for his client, Ryan Christoph. On May 25th, a jury convicted the former soldier of second-degree manslaughter and wanton endangerment in the January 13, 2010 fatal wreck that killed 73-year-old Norma Cook and injured her husband, Jack Cook. Christoph was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Fort Campbell's Blanchfield Army Community Hospital is implementing a new Army-wide policy effective July 5th to restrict prescribed quantities of controlled substances at all military treatment facilities. According to the February 2011 policy, soldiers with chronic medical conditions must obtain a new prescription every 6 months to avoid potential Uniform Code of Military Justice issues. Officials say TRICARE beneficiaries will be prescribed the minimum amount, and medical providers will be prescribing a 30-day supply. Schedule II controlled medications to treat ADHD are excluded from the policy and may be prescribed for up to a 90-day supply, and Schedule III controlled substances may have up to 5 refills. In addition, the policy states leftover medicine should be safely discarded and for soldiers to never self-medicate with leftover prescriptions. A Hopkinsville man was injured in a wreck on Greenville Road this morning. 21-year-old Tyler Allen told Christian County Sheriff's deputies he was driving south on Greenville Road when a car driving north swerved into his lane, causing him to run off the road into a ditch and hit a light pole. Allen was transported to Jenny Stewart Medical Center for treatment while his passenger was uninjured in the wreck. 3 endangered juveniles of Maryville, Tennessee have been found in Clarksville and are in police custody. Clarksville Police Spokesman Officer Jim Knoll reports 12-year-old Alexis Sullivan turned herself in to Austin Peay State University campus police around 9 o'clock this morning. Acting on a tip, police located 12-year-old Shelby Nunley about an hour later walking on the road in the Hilltop Drive area. And a few minutes later, police located 14-year-old Brittany Mastella inside a residence on Summer Street. Authorities have been looking for the 3 girls after they ran away from a Maryville, Tennessee group home. According to reports, police issued an endangered child alert to find the 3 runaway girls due to concerns about the well-being of Sullivan after Nunn and Mastella had made threats to harm her. Police say all juveniles were found unharmed and are being returned to state custody. Well, the Christian County Sheriff's Office is investigating an animal cruelty case. Troy Cannon of Greenville Road told deputies that sometime between Sunday and Monday, someone either came into his yard or drove by his residence and shot his dog on his front porch. According to Cannon, he noticed the dog was not acting right and saw what appeared to be gunshot wounds. Sheriff's deputies say that Jack Russell underwent surgery today at Trigg County Veterinary Clinic to remove the buckshot. Officials have released the identity of the coal miner killed yesterday in an accident in the Harlan County mine in eastern Kentucky. The victim has been identified as 49-year-old David A. Parton of Pineville. Officials say Parton was working as a continuous haulage belt person at the Manalapan P1 mine at Pathfork when the accident occurred around noontime yesterday. The mine remained closed today as officials of the Kentucky Office of Mine Safety and Licensing continue to investigate the accident. As we reported last night, this is the 2nd mining fatality in Kentucky this year. The Kentucky Division of Forestry firefighters who were sent to Florida earlier this month to help fight wildfires have returned to the Commonwealth. The 11 division employees departed on June 15th to assist the Florida Division of Forestry in fire suppression efforts. Kentucky sent an engine strike team to work several large fires, including the Espanola Fire, which burned over 5,100 acres, the White Eagle Fire, and the Little Hall Creek Fire. The firefighter crews assisted with fire line construction and mop-up operations. Other division employees left last week to fight wildfires in Georgia and should return early next month. And speaking of forestry officials are urging Kentucky residents to be on the lookout for an invasive insect known as the Asian longhorned beetle. The invasive beetles have been detected in the southwestern town of Bethel, Ohio, just across the river from Campbell County, Kentucky. Officials say the Asian longhorned beetle threatened the nation's forest and can significantly damage both rural and urban forests, but so far had the greatest impact in urban areas. Trees attacked by the ALB are predominantly maples, but infestations have also been discovered in horse chestnuts, poplars, willows, elms, mulberries, black locust, and birch, and many other popular trees. Forestry officials say the only way currently known to destroy the insect is to destroy the infested trees and to regulate the transportation of firewood, lumber, etc. from quarantined areas to outside zones. The beetle is believed to have arrived in North America in 1996 in wooden packing material used in cargo shipments from China. Citizens are being asked to report any signs of infestation by contacting the Kentucky Division of Forestry at 502-564-4496.